Alright, family. So I seen this one. Looks very, very intriguing. It says the downfall of Ice Spice, bro. Is it true? Let's find out.
They're marketing her like this for a very specific reason. Her body is more popular than her music. I just don't understand how people don't see it.
Best new hip hop artist, Ice Spice.
How long can they keep on shoving her down our throats?
That's a.
I ain't gonna lie to you.
Please don't say that shit, bro.
The best part of when she performs is the twerk.
It seems like people are waking up and it looks like the fall off is approaching.
All right, man. Talk to us. Talk to us.
Now, Ice Spice, a name most people recognize. She's one of the most well-known young female rappers in the industry.
Easily. All right, that's glazing. That's glazing.
Blew
That's
up over
glazing.
2 years ago with the song Munch, which ended up catching a lot of people's attention during that time. A lot of that attention came in terms of love, hate, intrigue, and everything in between.
Right,
That aside,
right.
one thing's for sure, she managed to capitalize on that wave and eventually kept on rising and rising. It seems like that rise has came to an end, however. Ice Spice's recent album sales being a sign of that. Isis Gaston, professionally known as Ice Spice, is a 24-year-old rapper born on January 1st, 2000 out of the Bronx, New York. She attended Sacred Heart
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
High School in
Yes,
Yonkers,
sir.
and after graduating in 2018, enrolled at the
Not the Bronx, yes, sir, bro. Just New York in general, bro. Don't do that, bro. Don't
State
do that.
University of New York at Purchase, where she studied communications and at the same time balanced playing volleyball. Ice Spice started making music while in college and stated that she always had a passion for it, and that's how she dabbled in it.
She kinda got a
Despite the time
cranium
she
on
spent
her.
making a lot of progress playing volleyball along with her studies, she eventually made the decision to drop out around her sophomore year. That led to her shouldering the responsibility of being the eldest
Damn.
sister of 5, working a wide range of jobs including at Wendy's and The Gap. During her studies, she ended up meeting Ephraim Luis Lopez Jr., mostly known as
That's why I can't be watching these videos sometimes, bro. I hate when you say somebody's government name. It just doesn't feel right, bro. It makes me feel like a fed.
Riot,
Ew.
a well-known producer behind the majority of her records. Ice Spice and Riot built a very close, tight-knit relationship, which later on transitioned into a producer and artist collaboration.
Then it
a
gotta be Puerto
relationship that
Rican.
became a key component in her success and blow-up. Because not only was Ephraim a very talented and ambitious producer, he also had a lot of prior ties to the music industry, something that Ice Spice benefited from. The ties to the industry he had was through his father, DJ Enough, a DJ and radio personality born in Brooklyn.
What? No way, it's this fucking kid for real.
New York, who's been
I
working
didn't
at
know
hip
that.
hop radio station Hot 97 since 1998.
Damn,
The
that's
encounter with
crazy.
Riot later on led to Ice Spice releasing her debut song Bully Freestyle in March 2021. The song gained attention after a video of Ice Spice participating in a challenge called the Bust It Challenge went viral on Twitter. Sometime later after that, she dropped the song Name of Love, which also gained attention, but this time on SoundCloud. On August 10, 2022, Ice Spice released her song Munch, distributed by Worldstar Hip Hop. The song quickly gained traction on social media, and Ice Spice was officially on the trajectory of blowing up, and that's exactly what eventually ended up happening. Ice Spice, in a span of a few weeks,
You just had to be there, bro. You just had to be there. Niggas don't understand, bro.
became one of the most talked about new
You
artists,
just had to be
all
there.
because of one song, but more specifically, one line from the song.
You thought I was feeling you? That nigga a munch.
Millions of people use the sound bit in their TikTok videos, and she was getting posted all over the blogs. On top of that, her streams were going through the roof, and all around, she was receiving a lot of attention all at once. Even Drake co-signed her by sending her a DM on Instagram, which she posted online as promo for herself. On September 2022, around a month after her initial blow-up, Ice Spice signed a record deal with 10K Projects, which was under a bigger
Damn, how old was she? Hold on. That happened in. Was that? Hold on. Did he say? Hold on. Did he say? Did he say what year Munch dropped? Hold on. Hold on. Sorry, y'all.
Of blowing up, and that's exactly what eventually ended up happening. Ice Spice, in a span of a few weeks, became one of the most talked about. traction on
what year?
social
What
media,
year?
Attention, but this time on SoundCloud. On August 10, 2022.
Oh, never mind.
Initial was now.
I tried to catch Drake. I tried, bro.
She was really starting to take off. The hype on social media had built her up to a level where she had all the attention on her. However, since she climbed so fast in the industry, Ice Spice was still a very much unknown face to the world. Here we had this attractive, racially ambiguous looking light-skinned woman who essentially blew up overnight in the music industry. So she had a big name, but who was the person behind the music? This is when streamer and YouTuber Kai Cenat comes into play.
Yes,
Because Ice
sir.
Spice ended up doing
W Kai, bro. W Kai, bro.
Doing an hour-long stream with Kai Cenat.
In the hook, I said, and literally in the hook, I said, you did me dirt. Cause what did I do? Like.
That's a bar.
People could suddenly now put up
I'm not gonna lie, that might have flew over my head, but that shit ain't hard. I don't
personality
get
to
it.
the face, which is an important part of the story, because if people feel like they don't know you, it's gonna be very hard for you to pivot, along with the song.
You know, on that note, my name is James. I'm 23. Big gym rat, bro. Gamer. Reactionist. I don't know what more you want, bro.
Munch climbing, her name being in the spotlight, and people now have
Football lover, Watch enthusiasts.
a sense of who she was. Things were going fairly well for Ice Spice, especially considering the fact that she only had a handful of songs out, Munch being the only one people recognized. Ice Spice, before she went on Kai Cenat's stream, also did a performance at Rolling Loud, which was heavily in the focal point during her blow-up. You can tell that she wasn't prepared for this moment, and on top of the narrative regarding her being an average rapper becoming stronger, people are now criticizing her stage presence, which is
Okay. It's 4 minutes and I paused like 8 times already. But hear this, right? I think this is what most people who so in a content creator space, right? I think this is what most people are talking about when they say be happy that this is happening to you right now, that you don't have any viewers, you're not getting any there's nobody in chat when you're streaming or nothing like that. You have the ability to make mistakes and learn, bro. So shit like this don't happen, because they always say, if they just gave you that, if you just gained that popularity overnight, most people wouldn't know how to handle it because they haven't built it, right? So if a million views just hit this, and everybody's commenting, Vader's fire, Vader's fire, and you try to drop another one just like that, it probably won't happen because you're not used to the steps, right? It's just it's too much at once for someone who just started in such a short time. And it's probably what he's about to say what happened to her, bro. She dropped a song, right? She didn't gradually increase in popularity, right? It just slammed on her. And that's the thing, you probably wouldn't know how to handle it or how to maintain it if it was just given to you in a day, without time for preparation or anything like that. So I kind of see what they're saying ultimately. Seeing her as an example, it makes sense to me now.
Aspect of being an artist. However, for Ice Spice, since she was such a new act who had rose to prominence so quickly, people eventually gave her a break. Later on, Ice Spice dropped 2 singles ahead of her EP. The first one being Bikini Bottom. The song had a somewhat catchy vibe to it. However, the very gimmick that people were drawn to was eventually the same thing that made people lose interest in it. One of the reasons why her
It just sounded like the Baby kind of, but the Baby was a beat thing, and it wasn't even the same. It wasn't even really the same beat. I don't know why niggas were saying that.
breakout song Munch ended up catching virality was because of the line, "You thought I was feeling you," that Ninja Munch. She somehow managed to capture that same exact essence on Bikini Bottom. The line, "How can I lose if I'm already chose," became a viral moment along with the song. At this point, she had 3 records out that were catching heat, and while those were still bubbling, she was getting a lot of coverage, specifically within hip-hop media. The biggest impact of the coverage relating to how fast she came up. People were wondering, how did she even come up this fast? That was a good question, because after all, at this point, she was only a few months into her career. Somehow, she's been getting all these cosigns from these big superstars out of nowhere, and her face is being plastered all over the place. A few months later, on January 6, 2023, she dropped the final single, In Her Mood, leading up to her EP, Like. The EP had not a lot of songs on it, 6 in total, minus the 3 she had already released. Despite that, the project ended up pushing 15,000 in first week sales, which wasn't bad for an artist who had blown up 5 months prior. It also debuted at number 13 on the top rap albums chart and at number 37 on the Billboard 200. The next few months after this is when she reached the peak of her career. Ice Spice linked up with UK artist Pink Pantheress for the song.
She's a UK artist? Yo, I know of her. I had no idea where the fuck she was from. Interesting. She doesn't give off UK vibes, bro. I'm not gonna lie to
song
you.
Boys
She really
a Liar
doesn't.
2. The song peaked at number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100,
Yeah,
which
that
up
shit was
until
tough.
this point was the biggest moment of her career. Now that was until the Barbie soundtrack for the Barbie movie. Ice Spice, along with Nicki Minaj, was featured on the Barbie soundtrack. That was a very big mainstream moment for her, which kept propelling her to the top. Shortly after that, a collaboration with Taylor Swift for the song Karma was announced. The record hit number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100, so this was her second top 10 entry within the span of a few months. At this point, Ice Spice
Bro, the fucking meme of I ain't even a body shame. Never mind,
built
bro.
up a
Forget it, bro.
significant amount of
This meme right here, when they were standing like, hold on, is he gonna do it? Let me
leverage in the
see.
music industry. And this
They
was
didn't do
less
it. It was basically me with Taylor Swift being like this. And nice. You get the gist, bro. You forget it, bro.
than 1 year into
I
her
lost
blow-up.
interest
She
in it.
got
Oh,
co-signed
there
by
it goes, right there. Boom. Where'd it go?
significant amount of leverage in the music industry, and this was less than 1 year into her blow up. She got
This shit right here, bro. Oh, it was edited. Yeah, she had a lot less in the meme. I ain't gonna lie to you.
co-signed by some of the biggest stars in music, performed alongside them, jumped on songs with them, and built up a very big social media platform through the millions of dollars of marketing that was dumped into her brand. But it was at this point that things eventually started.
And this is
to take
crazy.
a
This is
turn
only
for the
7
worse.
minutes
A
in,
turn
bro.
that eventually took her from almost 40 million monthly listeners to 15 in the span of a single year.
Damn.
Ice Spice started teasing a song called Fart, which was supposed to be the single to her next project, Y2K. After the snippet went viral on TikTok and social media, she ended up releasing it on January 2024. The song initially debuted at number 37. However, the week after that, it dropped down to 52,
Damn.
then 93. And after
Damn.
1 month and 22 days of its release, the song officially left Billboard Hot 100.
Damn.
Ice Spice at this point didn't have any records on the charts, as she continued releasing a few more singles up until the release of her
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. Life comes at you fast, my nigga. To think all of this happened within a 2-year span, bro. Her life eclipsed, my nigga. That shit took off, bro. And then the next year just plummeted. Well, not plummeted, because she's still like relevant now, I guess, but compared to what it was in like 23, fuck
Y2K
no.
debut album, Ice Spice hype had clearly died down at this point. Her music just wasn't performing as well, and the novelty factor of her brand was disappearing by the second. And then came her debut studio album, Y2K, the release that was supposed to be the most defining moment of her career. The album came out on July 26, 2024, with a mere length of only 10 songs and 23 minutes. The general public and her fans consider the album not good.
I feel like Ice Spice lacks the capacity and the ability to make a good record. Really, to me on the surface, it reads more like a lack of effort than anything.
The album ended up doing 28,000 in first week sales, a number that would be considered not so bad for any other fairly new artist. However, considering how much the industry was pushing her, the numbers were definitely underwhelming. Let's talk about some key reasons why this album underperformed, but
I think what Academic said is true, bro. That most of these artists aren't really like album artists. They just like make a banger, get out of there, wait a while, make another banger, get out of there. But like they have a bunch of good songs on an album. That's not them.
importantly of all,
It's
let's
really
talk
not.
about why Ice Spice lost relevancy. First of all, the album rollout didn't come across as authentic. One of the focal points of marketing this album had nothing to do with the music itself, but it did have everything to do with things outside of it, like her supposed relationship with UK rapper Central C. After coincidentally being spotted together in public around the same time she was ready to drop her album, it appeared as if they were allegedly dating, and they both kept the rumors alive and played into it. Come to find out, it was nothing but a ploy for a collab they were about to drop. The song was titled Did It First, and the entire concept of this particular song was cheating. The release of the song sparked a triangle cheating scandal between Ice Spice, Central C, and another famous social media star whose name is Madeline. She dated Central C in the past, and sometime after the song had dropped, Ice Spice stated that they were strictly friends. This is when we get into the topic of gimmicks. The definition of the word is as follows: something that is not serious or of real value that is used to attract people's attention or interest temporarily, especially to make them buy something. A strategy we've seen a lot of rappers in the game use with the help
That pump? Damn, what happened to this nigga, bro? Perks, probably.
of the
Probably, bro,
corporations,
yeah.
i.e. the record labels, and it usually ends up in the artist becoming a has-been. The psychology behind why that
Damn,
happens,
why they put
people
6ix9ine
simply
in
become
there?
more attached to the temporary high of uncovering what the gimmick actually is, rather than getting emotionally invested in the artist. For Ice Spice, her brand has always been very superficial. One of the biggest reasons why she even blew up in the first place was, you guessed it, due to pretty privilege, a social phenomenon which acknowledges the societal advantage a person
Oh, pretty. He said pretty. It threw me off for a second. I thought it was some UK shit.
has by fitting into the beauty standards of their culture. Ice Spice is, after all, a racially ambiguous, attractive woman who's, most importantly of all, light-skinned. Colorism is a huge factor that plays a critical part in the success of any female.
Bro, you could be way better than him. But if they don't want you there, bro, you ain't gonna be there. Straight like that.
The core of what Ice Spice sells is sexuality and promiscuity, something that she knows and all the people backing her up also know. This is not a secret when it comes to her. At every single moment possible, she's either seen twerking or sticking out her tongue in a salacious way, which does constantly feed into her brand. This is what keeps her popular, because as a female rapper in this generation, unless you're selling the idea of sex, it's going to be hard for you to even get your foot in the door.
Hey, man.
Part of selling this brand-wise is connected to children, specifically little girls. If you pay close attention to the visual aspect of her brand, bright colors like pink speaks to that younger audience, something that's been an integral part of marketing her to that big demographic of young girls. On top of the visual aspect, we also have the personality aspect. Ice Spice appears as a very likable person. That was, of course, up until the recent story involving her friend Cleo Trappa, which we'll talk
Not right now?
about in just a minute. An aspect a lot of people overlook. Coming across as being likable can get you where you want to go, whether it's attracting the right opportunities for your business, cultivating relationships of all kinds, or having certain unique experiences in life. It's one of the most effective ways to network with others. People like being surrounded by others who exude a sense of warmth and friendliness. This is directly correlated to persuasiveness, which is the quality of making people do what you want.
Man, she's swollen than a motherfucker. What the hell?
Or believe in what you believe. On a personality level, Ice Spice does project an easygoing kind of vibe. Whether or not it's real, that's not the point, nor is it relevant. She's managed to convince millions of people all around the world that she is who she supposedly says she is. So on top of what we spoke on, she also has a very strong identity, which is one of the key factors to reaching a high level in any industry. It communicates a very strong message to anyone who's brought into your world, and Ice Spice has created a world for herself. However, considering all the leverage she's built up in the industry throughout her short time in it, it is inevitable to say that Ice Spice has been on a losing streak. Something that's not only affecting how the general public views her, but it's also going to affect the marketing budget her record label allocates to her career. Aside from that, her public persona has also been taking a very strong hit. Of course, I'm gonna talk about this story. I'm sure you might have heard the current viral situation she's found herself in. Ice Spice's former friend and rapper,
Here we go. Now, get into it. There we go.
Cleo Trappa, recently came out and exposed Ice Spice for being a mean person behind the scenes. This is the second person who's been close to Ice Spice that's came out exposing her in the recent months. In one of the stories she told, Cleo Trappa talked about the mistreatment she faced from Ice Spice on tour.
I want my fans to come out. Like, she didn't really try to, like, mesh me in with her actual fan base or try to, like, put her fan base onto me.
Ice Spice ended up responding to her friend by
I'm not gonna lie, bro. Yeah, forget it.
by calling her a vacuum because she ate so much food at an Italian restaurant they went to during tour.
You not gonna tell the people how we was at an Italian restaurant and you ate so much fucking food, you fucking vacuum, that the server was like, where did the food go?
In other words, Ice Spice was a big fat meanie. According to Cleo Trappa, she was a fake friend, and she treated her like a second-class citizen, from having her carry her own bags to not being allotted a separate dressing space while they were touring, to Ice Spice team saying that there wasn't a budget in place when her friend asked them to buy her some food, a chicken salad. Cleotrapa after this was convinced that Ice didn't like her, and as a matter of fact, she hated her friend. After the embarrassment she faced behind the scenes, she decided to uncover the real side of Ice Spice. Now, this is definitely connected to the fall off or loss of relevancy of Ice.
I'm gonna lie. The hat, I ain't really fuck with the hat. The sweater, I don't know how I feel about this fit. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Will, because just a few months ago, one of her former friends, another one of her former friends, actually came out with a similar type of story. Her name is Baby Stormy, and personally, I don't know if I would consider her as very credible due to the nature of that particular expose. However, that aside, her reputation has definitely taken a hit. And this is related to something I spoke about, just a minute
it's tracking on us. Sorry, got off topic.
ago, which is her public persona. Because part of the reason why Ice Spice managed to be so successful is due to how she's appeared to the world. A young, beautiful, but very sweet woman, well-mannered, aside from when she's, shaking her ass, which is like, never. Ice Spice has benefited from what we call the halo effect, a cognitive bias where the overall impression of a person influences how other people feel and think about a person's specific traits. So for Ice Spice, she has the, the visual package, which is, the assets, i.e. very nice body and good facial features and a nice smile. She simply looks better than 99% of the women on earth based on societal standards, of course. Because beauty is highly subjective, and depending on what culture you're in, your level of attractiveness will vary. Now, this is what they call the halo effect. It's considered the physical attractiveness stereotype in which what looks beautiful is seen as good. I mean, there's even studies on this. Attractive people in society are perceived to be smarter, funnier, and more likable than less attractive people. From personal experience, I can tell you that some of the most demonic people I've met have been some of the most good-looking people on the outside. I'm sure you can relate to that. Ice Spice falls under this category perfectly, and that's why this recent story involving her friend coming out like this is just so damaging to her career. To be fair, her looking good is one of the only things that propelled her to this level. Let's just keep it real, right? This is like the nail in the coffin effect, where one needle is moving the mountain in a whole nother direction. All those good qualities people automatically projected onto her are slowly dissipating in the minds of the public. Ice Spice's entire image was built on not only sexuality, but being what women call a girl's girl. Now, what exactly is that to all the men who don't know what the hell that is? Because I just found out what it is. This is a term that's used to describe a woman who celebrates her fellow women, doesn't let jealousy get in the way of doing so, and she's honest and encouraging to her fellow women.
Learn something new every day.
As well. Ice Spice has now lost that entire aspect of her brand due to this controversy. Also, Ice Spice just doesn't have the same type of freshness to her name anymore. People feel like they've experienced all that they can from her. Her music has clearly taken a back seat as far as the conversations in relation to her name, especially with this particular story right here. And also, to be fair, she hasn't done herself a favor by putting sex at the forefront 24/7. Unfortunately, the majority of female rappers do that, but the ones that end up sticking are the talented ones, okay? The ones who show the world that they have more to offer than just their body. I'm talking about Snow the Product. I'm talking about Bia. I'm talking about Doechii. I'm talking about Flo Milli. These are women who put their
Hold on. Flo Milli actually nice, nigga. Don't do that.
Creativity at the forefront of everything they do. Now, as for Ice Spice, her body is more popular than her music. And it's always been like that, whether it's the millions of young girls following her because they want to be like her, or whether it's the thirsty basement-dwelling teenage boys who get turned on when they see her.
Why you gotta be all that, my nigga? I mean, I ain't one, but damn.
Her fat ass. Her name is fueled by her willingness to lean on sex, and once the shape she got introduced to the game with starts to change, since, she lost a bunch of weight and people have accused her of using Ozempic for her weight loss journey. Now that she's looking so different, what are they actually supporting? I mean, people were already not attached to her music, and leaning too much on your looks, whether you're a man or a woman, in any facet of life, is something that's very fleeting. As human beings, we can't run away from the inevitable process of aging, and that's why you gotta make sure people fall in love with who you are on an intrinsic level and not what you are. Leaning on the physical stuff gots to go, okay? Finito. Unfortunately for Ice Spice, since a big part of her popularity was fed by her good looks, that is her gimmick and she has to maintain it or else she'll fade away. To each in his own, but one thing's for sure, people have lost interest in Ice Spice. Do I think she's fallen off? Well, she's clearly not as hot as she used to be. She's of course very young and has built an extremely lucrative brand for herself, so even if the music doesn't pan out the way she wants it to, I'm sure she'll be able to monetize her name by working with big brands and cashing in on the sponsorship money. And this is an aspect of the music industry people seem to miss, okay? And this is very relevant to Ice Spice. A lot of these so-called artists that are popping up now are nothing but glorified social media influencers who happen to know how to sing into a microphone or rap into a microphone. The goal for the music industry wasn't for Ice Spice's career to have longevity. The goal was to build her brand up to a level where it's lucrative enough, and in that situation, she won't be dependent on her album selling for her existence to make sense. But that's why Ice Spice is losing relevancy. I'm sure she still has a couple solid years in the mainstream world of music left. However, the numbers prove that she's on a downward trajectory. Anyway, you made it this far, which means I'm sure you enjoyed the video, so do me a favor, or actually do yourself a favor by
subscribe to the channel, bro. We know he was getting that. I ain't gonna lie, that's a fire fucking video, bro, but damn.